Welcome, 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 welcome. Maybe I don't need this light. Let's see. All right, take that back. We'll run it this way. Hopefully, you guys see me. Everything is fine. I'm trying to run it off this. So let's get set up and get going. Running it off a different setup. I got my normal deal behind me, so I'm going to have to go through all of the things today to kind of get set up and going, because I'd rather be with you guys now and get this thing going. I'll use the light, man. I don't know. The glare is going to get me though, so maybe I need to set up another light on the other side, but there's no studio light. I'm not in the studio. So what do I do? All right, FinViz, heat map. So as usual, we're gonna go through the heat map today. The market did not necessarily like some of the comments that came out today, and it definitely reflected that. Why is it? It definitely reflected that. So Microsoft was up. Microsoft released their quantum chip. So it came off the bottom. It had been toying around with 405, 407 as a level that it essentially found support at. Let's see if I can drag this thing over here. Maybe I can get some light going that way. Go pull up some Yahoo Finance or something, because the black screen is definitely not working in my favor. Let's close this. Hopefully you guys are having a good week so far. Although it's a short week, we who is no voice. You can't hear me? Yo, you can't hear me? Okay. You said no voice. I don't know what that. Oh, cool. Appreciate that, Diego. There was just a comment in chat that said no voice. So I just assumed that you couldn't hear me, and I wasn't necessarily sure exactly, what that meant. Hopefully, man, appreciate that. All right. The comment the comment just threw me off, like, hey, no voice. Like, maybe it's because, I'm still, I don't know what's going on. I've gotten it checked out. They said it was, nothing. Basically a ongoing upper respiratory infection that essentially I just gotta work through. That this thing's been lingering since I went to Tampa a few weeks ago. So, but man, I can't get the lighting together. It's all right. We'll just do it. Appreciate it. So yeah, Microsoft Palantir took a dump today. You guys know that I am, I'd say heavy in Palantir. I got a few contracts, few leaps. The Pentagon, Trump directed the Pentagon to essentially cut their budget by 8%. I think this is going to be 8% annually over the next 5 years. So imagine having a job, right? And you making a certain amount of money, and then all of a sudden they say, hey, you know what? We got to cut your spending. That house that you live in, you need to go get rid of it and buy another one that's smaller and cheaper. That's essentially 40% less, so that you can stay within the same parameters of your budget, because that's all we're going to give you for the next 40 years or the next 5 years. So essentially, you're looking at cutting a budget, which is crazy, if you ask me. But and the biggest percentage, or a large percentage of it, is centered around personnel. So each of the branches, I know the Air Force, we go through this ebb and flow where we go up, we're over 350,000, and then all of a sudden they cut us But that's that. So I blocked somebody today on Threads. People in the comments chattering, whatever. Everybody, usually got something to say. This one was just a little crazy. Like, hey, if you're going to spend 2 cents on the contract, then you shouldn't trade. I don't trade for you. I don't trade for the people that jump out and spend thousands of dollars on a contract. Now, granted, if I'm doing leaps, then my leaps are usually, I'll put $1,000 to $2,000 into a leap. And Hood, Hims took a pill today. My Hims is up 20x right now at a cost of $233 per contract. So, and I'll go through that in a minute, but really it's for the people that are out there that don't understand how to trade. They're uncertain. They don't want to put a lot of risk on. And that's why I trade. Like, I took the IWM closing trade yesterday at $2 per contract. And that was what I posted, right? So I closed that trade at $43 or $44 per contract. Now, if you risk $2, you make $40. If you risk $20, what's up, Marquis? If you risk $20, then you make $400. If you risk $200, you make $4,000. And this was in a 15-minute span. This is what I'm talking about. Like, if you leverage what you leverage, your risk is your risk, right? Like, I'm not going to tell you to risk $2 or $20 or $200 or $2,000. But the thing is that you are looking for the percentage gain return. And that's what I go after, is really percentage gain returns. Not every trade is going to hit. Right now, I still have another trade that was open that nobody ever talks about anyway, but it's a swing that I called out a couple weeks ago that's really starting to move now. But this was the swing trade. That swing trade is up 150%, I think. But our weekly call hit today 900% on day 2 of trading. So day 1, it was up 400%. Day 2, it ran all the way up to, I think it hit 72 cents today for the high. And the entry price for this contract was $8 per contract. I go out and I find these same types of setups daily, if not, a couple times a day. So the 2 cent to 40 cent trade was a 2,000% trade. And that trade was an $8 to $72 trade. So for the mom, right, the single mom, and I told you guys about my mom my situation last week, but for the mom that has, a little $10 left over, $20 left over, and they want to put themselves in the game, right? Like 2 contracts in each one of those positions, you're now risking $20. And essentially that $20 risk has now turned into, so it's $150 for the one position that's still open. And then the IWM trade yesterday was up $80 total. So on a $4 risk, you're at $85. And on a $16 risk, you're up $150. So that's $223 that you didn't have before in 2 days. Now, you can do that once a week or twice a week, or scale up your leverage. Then essentially, you can definitely slowly dig yourself out of that hole by hitting consistent wins like that. Those are the people that I trade for. And those are the people as to why I come on here every week and I talk about this stuff every week as an inspiration. It's not for me. It's for them. So I'm going to go ahead. The other thing that kind of stood out to me today is that there's another, not in my comment, but just as I think I got to let I gotta let Thinkorswim think. Are you finding consistent wins by technicals mainly? So the one is a swing. It's in an uptrend right now, and I have been watching it, watching the momentum build. And I'll give an example of it because I don't want to give that exact trade away. Diego said 1,000%, nothing less. Diego hit the Intel trade again this week. Crazy trade. Absolutely still killing it, man. Pull back. We'll see what happens. But I think just, some of the momentum just died just a little bit on it. But, it's cool. It's cool. So somebody was like, they wish options didn't exist. And that struck a nerve with me, man. Like, if you don't understand options, just say that. Yeah, I got a Discord. The link's in my bio. Matter of fact, shoot me a DM. Shoot me a DM, man. So somebody said that on this comment, they said they wish that options didn't exist because options mess up the game or the underlying fundamentals or the technicals for long-term investors. And for me, I was just like, wait, if you don't understand options, just I got you, bro. I got you. I understand. Like I said, hit me up. Shoot me a DM. I know who you are. If you don't understand options, just say that you don't understand options, because that's the thing. If you're out here just like, hey, it messes up the fundamentals for long-term investors. Nobody said that you couldn't be a long-term investor and still be an option trader. They're not mutually exclusive of each other. Like, you freaking, and I'll go through, I'll talk about Hood because I bought Hood. Matter of fact, yeah, Jay's in there now. And I think Jay hit on Hood last week too, but homie was talking about, I just want to buy shares. So in transparency, and I told you guys before, right, I'll go and buy one share or a few shares just to kind of watch the stock and keep it on my radar, because I check my accounts every day at a minimum. I might not trade every day, but I check my accounts every day. And that way I can see the stock every day and I can follow the movement of this stock. So let me pull up my large time frame analysis. It's a little bit, let me maximize this one real quick. Got everything up behind me. I'm trying to, so I bought Robinhood, right? Like, I bought Robinhood a few months ago and I kind of watched it trend up. And I'll pull up Robinhood, and I alerted some calls to the Discord. And I was like, hey, I'm getting in these leaps. I want the 30 call for this expiration date. And Robinhood last week, this is a weekly chart. Robinhood last week ran all the way up to $67. I bought shares at $24.25. So I'll pull up the calculator as well, because I'm running this on my, I got running this off my HP. Hopefully you guys can see it in the background, but I bought shares at $24.60 or 70 cents. So I'll round up and I'll do 25, right? So at $67 minus 25, my profit per share is $42. If I put in, let's do a round number of $3,000. So at $25 a share, $3,000. That gets me, so I already know my profit's $42 a share. $3,000 divided by 25 is 120 shares. That got me 120 shares, right? I put $3,000 of risk into it. And that's times, so I got 120 shares times 67, 4. So it's $42. So that got me $5,000. I think the math is right on that. Because the growth on the shares, it got up to 67. Yeah, it's $42 a share. So that got me a $5,000 profit from a $3,000 risk. So my total capital now is $8,000. And so benchmark that number, $5,040. I bought the Robinhood Leaps, $370 a contract. So now, let's see if I can. I am in the hood. Man, the font looks huge on this thing on this side. We have positions, the account summary. We are in the wrong account. So hood 370 call. I'll pull it up right here real quick. Hood 250919 call 30. So we got in back here. This was like 370. You probably can't see it behind me, but this right here, you can see the growth. It's $36.82 was the high. Today, the current price is $32.10. So by putting in, I 10x'd it last week, right? By putting in, I've been able to get back to my calculator. 3,000 divided by 3.70. Sorry, 3,000 divided by 370 per contract. So I got 8 contracts. I'm doing rough math. I got 8 contracts, went around down. So I put in 370. The total return got me up to $37 per contract. That's a 10x. So 37 times a 3,700, because that's how much it is worth now per contract, times 8 equals. Can you see this number behind me? I still got to figure out the whole pointing thing, but that's the number right there. If I risk $3,000 in options versus risking $3,000 on shares. So if you don't understand options trading, that's fine. Ask the question on how does it work? Please explain, how can I make this work? And this is a long-term swing. This is a long-term swing. I got in this in, let me see if I can pull it up in the Discord. Go to the Leaps channel. There it is. It's this one right here. Hood, September 30 call, 370 filled. It's literally right there. Alerted on November the 1st, 2024. So November, December, January, I round up, I go 4, February. And in 4 months, you turn a $370 contract into $3,700. Now, your risk is up to you. You can get 1 contract, You can get 5, you can get 10, you can get 20. The math still maths. It's still 1,000% return. Now, this other guy was like, hey, I don't understand this. So I broke it down again. I was like, hey, look, if you teach as well as suggest trades, honestly, that's what I prefer to do, is teach. I want to do exactly what I'm doing right now in my Discord. I got a one-on-one scheduled tomorrow. Somebody just booked it. There's a link that's in there. But yeah, I prefer to teach because I want you to be able to figure out what's going on. I literally did a class last night for the Discord. I do sessions on Tuesdays. They normally last maybe like 45 minutes to an hour, maybe an hour 15, depending upon how well the flow is going. But like last night was a really good class. And it kind of like helps when you can break it down and understand the fundamentals on why certain things do that they make the moves that they do. A momentum play, a volume play, like Intel was a momentum play. We took TSM. So catalyst play is based on news. Intel was kind of a catalyst play, but it also had some speculation and momentum behind it as well. So that's why Intel ran from $19 last week to up to 27 this week. Saw a little pullback on Friday, 23, reload, boom, pops to 26, 27 again this week. So this was Intel on the weekly chart. So on the 10th, that's right here, other side, yeah, up here. So that's the 10th, that bottom candle up there. Yeah, that's the 10th, that bottom candle. And let me hide the Fibonacci retracements. That'll tell you how long we actually been watching this thing. Nah, take that back. I don't want to remove the fib. I just changed my drawing set and created a new drawing set for Intel, blank, and all my drawings will go away. So I don't know who I did a one-on-one with, but they showed me that tool right there, and it absolutely helps. So I can't remember who it was, but I appreciate you. But yeah, like this is the Intel setup right here. I don't know why this camera keeps rotating. I feel like I'm sideways. That was the Intel setup. This was $19.27 on the 10th. And yesterday it ran all the way up. So took profits on the Intel call on Friday. My runners, which I paid $11 per contract for, I sold them at open. Boom, $220 per contract. So that's almost a 20x play right there. Then reload, because DZ was like, yeah, I took profits and I rolled till next week. So it sounds like the momentum is going to keep going. The chart suggested. What did I see? I saw momentum on the stochastics still trending up. I saw volume, and that's the volume bar. Those are the advanced volume bars. So this yellow line right here, and this is literally what I go over. This yellow line right here is the average. If your volume is trading over the average and it's buying volume, which is clearly distinguished between the red selling and the green buying, then 9 times out of 10, the trade should continue to go your way. Yeah, you roll up and roll out. We ain't talking about smoking though. But as long as these things align for you, you should be fine in the trade. Take profits, lock your profits in, and put a little bit of skin back in the game just to see what happens. So what I would like to do is, if I hit a 10x play, sorry if I missed it, what are the benefits of rolling? So if you roll the contract out, you go out and up to another strike. So if you start, like we were in the 22, 23 calls last week and took profits on Friday, boom, locked that in at 23, turning $11 per contract into $220 per contract. Then you roll out to like the 25, 26 call for the following week, because Friday's expiration. You're not going to buy Friday's contracts. That wouldn't make sense unless it was a lotto play. But you roll out to the following week, but you stay within the average trading range of the stock. There's the ATR indicator up there. You probably can't see it, but Intel's ATR for the past 14 days has been $1.34. So because it's a momentum play, you can kind of give yourself a little bit more cushion. You can go a little bit further out, because we're looking for the stock to continue moving higher. And that way, if the stock continues moving higher, your profits are locked. You started, hypothetically, let's say you jumped in, you got 10 contracts. I want to say DZ had a killer entry. My man got in at 3 cents per contract. My cost was 11 cents. He locked in profits sooner. But yeah, you're playing with the house's money, because essentially I would only re-risk my original principal on this. So if I started with 200 and I get up to 2,000, I'm only going to re-risk 200. That's your drawdown. Again, you're playing with house money at that point. So if you buy next week's contracts and you pay 15 cents, 20 cents per contract, you still set that cap at $200, but you only get 10 contracts at 20 cents per contract, because it doesn't make sense to go out there and blow the trade. Because what happens if you hit this number and then it draws down, and if you're using a stop loss and it hits your stop loss up here on this red candle, which was Friday. So I sold at open, boom, stock reverse, went back high. Okay, buying opportunity, boom, hop in the trade and keep it going. And then Monday it popped, still more speculation. So TSM, catalyst play. Micron, sympathy play. Somebody asked in the Discord, what's a sympathy play? But Intel, AMD, chips, so Micron are all American companies. And we were talking about in the news bringing American production back with chips. So that's really like, you could have played any one of those and been fine and hit, because Intel moved. Guess what else moved? Micron. I got an alert set for, I noticed a pattern, so I just turned the alert on. Let me know when it hits a specific price point. This is TSM. TSM is Taiwan Semiconductor. It popped on Friday. That was a catalyst play. But AMD basically followed the same pattern. So this is called a sympathy trade. All three American semiconductors: Intel, AMD, Micron. And they all follow the same pattern. They all trended upward all 5 days. The only thing is that you saw a doji. This was Friday, and then this was yesterday, and this is today. But that's that. Back on my soapbox about leaps, man. The example I gave the guy was CrowdStrike, right? So CrowdStrike, and it helps when you look at it on a monthly chart, because the monthly chart is going to kind of give you, hey man, we're looking a little oversold here. Back in August, when CrowdStrike just dropped, they had the Delta outage. It always takes a catalyst, right? They had the Delta outage, and big outage. It was due to CrowdStrike, tied it to Microsoft. CrowdStrike fell from 385 all the way down to $200. This stock fell $185 in a month. So I was like, hey, people tell you to buy the dip, right? It's like, buy the dip, buy the dip, buy the dip, buy the dip. Well, if you bought the dip on CrowdStrike, at the very bottom, it was $200. And if you bought you had $4,000 to risk, and you just bought shares. You would have 20 shares. 20 shares, right? Granted, it sounds great because you put 4,000 in, the stock now is at $455 a share. So now you have 20 shares worth $450 a share. So now you literally turn your $4,000 into $9,000. Sounds great because you're up like 125%. So you got your bag, you're holding your $9,000. Well, where was the first target? My first target would have been the bottom of this candle right here, which would have been like 289, 290. You can go 250. But all you do is you go look at the option chain. You're like, okay, well, crowd. I go out and I look at leaps. How far out can I go? Well, this happened in August, so we can go to August, we can go to September. That gives me a whole year. And I go to the option chain and I'm like, well, what's the 280 look like? Or what's the 250 look like? So, you know your profit's $5,000. I already told you that one. $5,000 profit because you got $9,000 out of it. So I'm going to copy the CrowdStrike ticker for the 280 call. I keep forgetting that I'm not on my Mac. I'm going to remove the theoretical option price and I'm going to hide the SMA. Open interest, actually. That's what that is. So this option was $27.20. Option was $27. I'll drag it over here. Let me just go back. I don't think I can go further out though, because the option wasn't unlocked. This Windows. I don't want the full screen. Oh my gosh, don't do this to me. All right, you get the point. Look over here. $27.25. I'm showing you the whole screen, even though I got my grid up behind it. So for $2,700, you still have $1,300 left over. And you can do whatever you want to do with that. But right now, this $2,700 option, if you want to add a little bit more capital to it, what you could have done is laddered up and laddered out, right? Like I said, whenever I'm in a leap and I'm learning this the hard way with Hood, with Hims, because I took profits on Palantir in December and then I took some off on Walmart last week. I'm learning that you need to ladder your strikes. I talk about rolling up and rolling out, but you also need to ladder your expiration strike dates. So maybe don't go a year out on CrowdStrike. Maybe you can get some time with this one, and then with the $1,300 that's left, let's go with the 6-month option instead. So you have one for 12 months, which is here, and I'll do a 2 grid. I'll do a 2 grid here, and I'll do a monthly. Let's do a monthly. Let me customize this and then get rid of that pain, and then I'll go to the weekly chart, and I will remove all studies, and we just gonna look at crowd. So this is crowd, the stock on the right for the weekly time frame, starting on the dip. Move my big head out of the way. So that's the dip right there behind me behind my head. You see where my head's at right there. That low was $200. So that option that I said, Control V, that's the crowd right there. Let me unlock this and go back and pull up crowd. That option is $185 per contract. So you have 16, I'll round up. It's $2,700 was the low. I can round up and go to 30. Let's say you pay $30 per contract. It's at $18,520 right now, because that's what this one says, right there. That's 185.20. Add 2 decimals. It's $18,000 for $30 risk. You have another $1,000 left. Well, what can I do with this $1,000? If I want to put it in crowd, I can go 3 months out. I can go 6 months out. My preference to tell you, go 6 months out. Go halfway in between. So now I come to my options chain and I look and I say, well, self, what can I do? And I look at the option chain. Well, let's look at March, because 6 months before September is March. What does the option chain look like for the 21 March expiration? On the, let's look at the 250. Let's look at the 270. Let's look at the 260. But for this purpose, I'm gonna look at let's look at the 250. Let's look at the I'll do 280 just to keep it consistent. Let's look at the 280. So this is the March expiration. It's a little not quite as cheap as I was thinking, but it's $1,600. So you got to come out of pocket about another $600. It's $1,600. And this option strike right now is $175. So it's $17,521 right now. So for $1,600, you now have $17,000. That's a 6 month expiration. And then with the other option, you put $2,700 into it, and essentially it's at $185 per contract, which is $18,000. So for a very small fee of $4,600, $4,700, you now have $35,000 in unrealized gains that you can sell right now, take profits, and walk away. Or you can be satisfied with your $5,000 share gain during the same time frame. Again, if people don't understand options, it's better to just ask the question, because I would literally do this exact same thing that I just did for free, because I want people to understand the leverage and the gains that you can see from an option versus buying shares. Like, for years, I simply bought shares. I didn't touch an option until probably 2019, 2020. And 5 years later, I'm like, that's really all I want to do is I'll buy a share on the dip and I'll buy some options. Like, I will go find a stock that's oversold, which I have a scanner for. See if I can find it real quick. It's a very simple scanner. I just sort stuff and I look for it by the RSI. And this is just the S&P scanner. And anybody can pull up the S&P scanner. All I do is add the RSI column and I sort by RSI and I go and look. I'm like, well, bro, you can buy shares, but you see what buying options does. I go and I look, like, well, Danaher is oversold, and these are all S&P 100 companies. The RSI is in its far right column. It's on this side back here. If I can, yeah, it's right here next to the price action. Danaher has an RSI of 30 right now. Merck has an RSI of $32.29. LMT has an RSI of 33, and then GD. So this oversold catalyst, we'll have to see how it pans out. But GD, LMT, those are both defense companies. And maybe it happened today. I just haven't charted it yet. But if you're going through and you look at it, like, well, this company's oversold right now. Whoa, why? And you can look at like LMT, and I'll pull up LMT just because. Let me maximize this. So I go look at LMT. This is crowd still behind me. LMT. Sharp drop, right? Like, where's the next support level? And I've already charted this just because I want to look at it. Back behind my big head on this side over here. It's falling right here. So my next level to look at it again will be somewhere in this $408 range, right? Like, that's what I have charted as a support level, potential support level. It's making and this is on the weekly, it's making an inside bar on the weekly, but move my head out of the way. So it's making an inside bar right there on the weekly. Is that the curve? Does the curve start here? I don't know for sure, right? Like, I'm just gonna have to chart it out and continue watching it and see what happens. I don't like touching the stock until I see, especially if it's oversold like this, until I see it starting to curl up on the stochastics and on the RSI on the weekly time frame. If it just in a consistent downtrend, definitely not touching it. And GD's following the same pattern. So again, what I say is, these are both, not what I say, but the fact is that these are both sympathy plays. Like, they are both, I DM you about mentorship. What does it mean to be oversold? So oversold is a state of relative strength on the relative strength index. The oversold number is usually below 30. So let me add the RSI on the chart. Market strength study. Let's just do RSI. And this is a weekly chart. The RSI is behind me. This line back here. Overbought is usually above 70. Oversold is below 30. So an overbought example would be Meta or Costco right now. Like, there should be the default settings. Let me make sure I change this. So the overbought default setting should be 70 or 80. I like to use a double RSI, double stochastic. So I like to make that white up there. Where's the plot? Make the width 3, and I'll make the color white. And overbought is, I'll make that one. So that's 70. So anytime it crosses above 70, as you can see back here on my finger, it crossed above 70. This is Costco. On the weekly, it's overbought, which it can stay overbought. It can stay oversold for an extended amount of time. I don't like touching it until I see it start to curl and then cross back out of that state of being. So I don't want to talk about anything that we actively trading right now that are in uptrend. So I got this thing about jinxing it. So I look at like Meta, right? And it helps. You can go down to the daily chart. Anytime the stock dumps and it goes into a overbought or oversold state, or if it dumps, it's going to go oversold, right? And when's the last time Meta actually dumped? I pretty much would have to go all the way back to August, maybe, when it got close. July. Celsius is probably still, y'all know. This is Celsius, right? So back in November, it reached a overbought state, oversold state right here. It trended below the 30 level, and the stock had been beat up. So when people see that, they tend to say, okay, well, the stock is oversold. I'm going to go buy now. And what you'll see is that it got a little relief pop, right? Like back in November, it got a relief pop. Let me thicken the RSI line. It got a relief pop and it went from $25 back up to $32. And then shortly after, it curled over again and it continued down to its current position right now, which you see right here. It went oversold. It went oversold again. So it went oversold. The stock was sold off. It fell from 25 or 26 bucks, which was up here. It fell from $26 all the way down to 21. And now it has started to curl up out of that state, which is to the other side of my head, like over here. It started to curl up out of this state. I probably will never get used to this inverse pointing thing. So as it started to curl up, and I'll use my cursor, so just pay attention to the cursor behind me. That's probably easier for me to do. It started to curl up out of this, out of being oversold. And caught a nice move today, and I'm pretty sure we caught some of that move on this gap up. But here's a red flag. It's got earnings after close tomorrow. We'll see what happens. It traditionally has not done well, but I don't think the IV has priced in a huge move. Like right now, I'm looking, and it's looking like the market makers have a price move of $3.70 either direction. So that's like, it's $27, $26 right now. If they've priced in a $3.70 move, you can look at calls to the upside for 30 ballpark, or puts to the downside back to that previous oversold level, which was around like 22, 23, 22. So that's what I like to do when I see the market makers pricing in that move. And it kind of gives me hesitation too, because why did this move happen today, knowing that earnings is tomorrow? Like, did they bake that in? I don't know. Does it retrace back to this gap? I don't know. But I personally like to come in here and I say, okay, well, the stock is currently at 26. The move is $3.70 down. So what I'll do is literally just do simple math. Like $3.70 down from 26 essentially puts me, guess where? Between this and this. So I'm gonna just draw my price level out. And then boom, $22.31 right there. 5. So target down would essentially be here. That's $22.31 back there. And then target up. But essentially go simple, duplicate, and then I go all the way back up here. And I'm looking at it's at 26.16 after hour, so right at 30 bucks, somewhere in this area. So that's essentially my bracket. That should have duplicated. I don't know why I didn't. So that's my high bracket, that's my low. That's my range for this earnings trade. Now, if for some reason it blows all the numbers out of the water and it runs all the way back to $35, which during that December pop, I think it ran up to 31, which again, you wonder why people do the things that they do, or markets do the thing that they do. It literally ran up to that level, hit it, and dropped. So maybe, just maybe, we'll see what happens, man. What we at on time? 8:22. Man, I've been going for a minute. I can keep going because it's enjoyable. I like to do this stuff, but Tomorrow, pull up Forex Factory real quick. Tomorrow, we have the unemployment report coming out in the morning before market opens, and gotta filter this down. We just want to look at US data. So we had the Fed minute release today. Oh man, shout out to Yaya and everybody that caught that. Yeah, I know earnings are scary sometimes. It looks dark because it's got my, sorry, camera got a little dark. Because of the white background behind me. But unemployment, 8:30 tomorrow. Philly manufacturing index, 8:30 tomorrow. And then we got a lot of Fed speakers. There looks like there's 4 of them by 5 p.m. So 3 of them are when the market opens. And then Friday, we got flash PMI, and then services and manufacturing. But yeah, shout out to Yaya. Shout out to all the members that actually caught that SPX trade today on the FOMC minute release. The SPX 6150 and 6155 calls went from 40 cents up to I think the 6150 went up to like 350 in about, shit, I think it was like 30 minutes. 25:19 call, 6155. This is the one that I alerted right here. And then, so, and I'm looking at 1400. So 24 cents right here, 25 cents, and it formed a doji. It ran all the way up to almost $1.80. So couple contracts, $25 each, $50 risk, what have you. If you go in and you get 4, you're at $100 risk into that, and then it ran up to $180 per contract. So that's $100 flipping it into $700, and those are 15-minute candles. So 1, 2, 3, right there. And then the SPX 6150, which was absolutely nuts. That one ran from 40 cents was the low. 40 cents was the low. And then the very next candle, 15-minute candle, it ran up to 320. So that's 2 trades right there in a 30-minute span. Shoot me a DM. All right, matter of fact, it depends on what your membership level is. But yeah, shoot me a DM, and we can chop it up in there. Do I teach basics in the Discord? For the basics, I would highly recommend jumping in there, studying all the stuff that I have in the new member section. So there's a channel up here called New Member Start Here. It's right here. It's called New Member Start Here. And what's in that channel is essentially a bunch of technical info breakdown, like simple moving averages, the layout of the Discord, what to call, what to put, benefits of buying a call, benefits of buying a put, expiration dates, out of the money, in the money, volume, open interest. If you're in the highest tier, just scroll down to the right here where it says, move my head out of the way. Oh my gosh, Windows. I just want to stretch this over. Scroll down to this channel right here where it says next level scheduling. Click that and then follow the instructions up top. And that essentially will put you on my calendar, which I do have a Google Calendar for scheduling. And all you gotta do all you gotta do is schedule a one-on-one in there. Somebody just, can we do a one-on-one on Wednesday? The calendar link's in there, man. It's all you gotta do is go to the calendar link. But make sure you put your Discord information in there. Just in case my calendar link gets leaked, I don't want to just be doing one-on-ones for folks that are not in there and have not requested it from me. But yeah, like I was saying, all the things up top, there's a bunch of videos right here. So like I went through over the Christmas break and I reshot all of these videos. So every pane you see that looks like this is a video that gives an explanation on something. There's another one there. Here's another one here. There's another one. So where I talk about RSI, like I literally just broke down RSI, there's a video that talks about that. Moving averages, order terminology, and some other stuff. And then what it looks like when I alert a trade. Like price, bid, ask, mark, whatever it is. The Discord link is in my bio. So if you go back to my main page, just click the bio. Yeah, what he said. The link is in his bio. Yeah, there's definitely 1,000% plays. So, shit, where we at? Yeah, this was the 6150 right here today. 47 cents up to 350. And then, so Brad took some puts, 6 cents. And this is what it is, man. This is a 6-cent contract and it went to 24 cents. So that's a 300% return. And you can see the number right here behind me. That's 300% return right there. I don't know how long he was in the trade, but there's a bunch of stuff in here. This was, yeah, SPX 6150, Celsius new high on the day, HIMS. Oh yeah, that's 1,000% trade right there. I don't know who took that one. It's another member. He took that one. Yeah, it's hilarious. AMD, that was one of the ones that I was talking about last night. That was like 50% right there, but that's my HIMS contract. So 233 a contract. I usually don't show how many I got because I don't want anybody to be like chasing risk or whatever, but that's $233, $2.33 per contract. And that was before it ran all the way up to $72 this morning. So that's $4,800 per contract from $233 on risk. Yeah, I don't charge extra for one-on-ones for next level members. And I do a class on Tuesday, as I said, I do a class on Tuesday for my members. Everybody's open, but I record it and I drop it in the channel, in the next level channel for my next level members that are not able to make it. So there's a channel down here called Tuesday Sessions, and it's essentially all the ones that I've done. But you don't have to be the highest in the Discord to get access to the class. For one-on-ones, we talking, and it usually goes like an hour, right? Like my one-on-ones can go from an hour. I don't charge extra if they run over. Like you get it as part of your next level membership. I just gotta remember my account information. It's on my other computer though. So it's on my Mac. Yeah, it's on my Mac. But $30 a month. He can tell you, he literally has taken 2,000% trades in a week. So the dude right here commenting that says Diego C note, I'm gonna go to the Profits channel real quick. So this is his closed trade from, I'll talk about last week. So this was last week. You probably can't see it, but that's a 2,760% return on some 3-cent contracts. It probably looks blurry, but it's in there. Robinhood, 53%. Robinhood, 136%. Hims, he said it hit a stop, 80 call. That was at 9:51 this morning. Hims kept going though. Oh, this dude right here, Justin. So he said this is his first day in. This is today at 1:32. He wanted to try the ATR method. He's been following me for a while on Threads. This is a day trade. So he jumped in. He bought SPY at 14 cents per contract. And he sold SPY at 29 cents per contract. So that's literally 100% in. He got in at 9:36 this morning. Looks like it. And he got out at 140. And then I don't know what this one is. He sold the runners at 45 cents at 221. Right as the market started to pop. He said, do I have a section for swing trades? So yeah, I do have a section for. So I got my weekly watch list, which is this one. So CVS was last week. This was CVS. We caught that one. Tesla to the downside. So I was calling for Tesla puts right here on this break of the 350 level. And I'm gonna show you what Tesla did. You gotta go to the 4-hour chart. So this is what Tesla did last week. Remove all studies. So this was last week's watch list. And we were up here at 350. I called for puts on the break of the 350 level. I think that was 374. So we would have been like here, I think. Yeah. I called puts to the downside right there. 335 was the target. It ran all the way down to 320. So you can do the math on that. It went $15 in the money. So that's $1,500 per contract in the money. And then after that, on Wednesday, it reversed and it literally went all the way back up. For every action, there's usually, especially with like Tesla, there's an equal and opposite reaction. And with that one, it just so happened to be later in the week. So those contracts were a little bit cheaper. But yeah, I got a section for swing trades, which is here. So like, yeah, swing trades is this channel, and then leaps is here. So I took profits on this is my wife's account right here. We took profits on that before Starbucks had earnings. That was $97. We rolled out, got some more contracts a little bit further out, and Starbucks is now at $113 per contract. And this was alerted a while ago. That's the hood trade right there that I already talked about. Who is this? Somebody asked me about CVS. Still in it. Still going. This was Google. This one ran up. What else, man? Yeah. So yeah, that's it, man. Like, there's a lot of info out there, and if you take nothing away, if you're ever thinking about buying a dip, and let's say you have a set amount of money that you want to risk, right? If you're ever thinking about buying the dip on a stock, consider buying options. Buy a share just to watch it, and I'm just telling you what I do. Buy a share just to watch it, and then add some options, and ladder them out. And I guarantee you, I can almost guarantee you, if the stock is truly oversold and you start to enter on the reversal, you will see your account grow tremendously, like 2x, 3x, 4x, because the risk that I put on a leap or a swing trade is usually about 10 to 20% of what it costs to buy the shares. So if an option is if a stock's $100, my leap price needs to be between $150 to $200 per contract, and I'll buy 2 shares or whatever, and then I get the rest with leaps, and I just let it pan out. So yeah, that's how I do things, man, and it's been working out. Hopefully Palantir finds some footing after this news that hit it today. But Palantir, Hems, Hood, I got other leaps that I'm in that are active that are like still going. So, but man, it's been an hour and 9 minutes. I appreciate y'all. I am TDY next week, so I probably will not do a live because I will be TDY in Texas, and I don't know what my schedule is looking like. So super busy week. So I'm just gonna go ahead and put it out there. Now, if you see me pop on, I'll pop on, but I will not have all of this because I'm not driving down there. And y'all pray for me with all this stuff that's going on, all the stuff that's going on with airplanes right now. But I definitely will not spend 7 or 8 hours in the car. So, but yo, I'll see y'all next week, man. I appreciate you. Go ahead and hit that. Marquis, don't be cursing me, man. I don't need Palantir dropping that low.